Greetings. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks Sr., your host, and this is Community Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Command Master Chief Leon R. Walker Jr. He's a speaker and he's an author, and he is a person that you should know. Greetings, Command Master Chief Walker.
Good evening, Dr. Brooks. How you doing?
We're very happy that you've literally taken time from your busy schedule to be with us on Community Forum, because as I said at the top of the program, you are a person that Lake County should know, not only Lake County, but worldwide.
Okay,
As a
I'm
matter
happy
of
to hear
fact, this show will air worldwide. It will go online in about 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
It'll go online so people can see it all over. Now, we're going to be talking about your life from tragedy to triumph, is the title, and we're going to need about 2 or 3 more shows, to talk about
whatever you need, Doc.
about your life.
Yeah, whatever you need.
Lake County is approximately 750,000 people, but our Comcast coverage is about 100,000. But people can go online and watch it at any time.
All right.
Now, what I want you to do is tell our listening audience a little bit about your personal and professional background. Now, we know you as a speaker, we know you as an author.
Yeah.
You have a great life prior to military, great life in the military, and a greater life post-military.
Okay.
So we can't tell it all in one program, but why don't you just start off?
Okay, Doc. Well, prior military, my life wasn't so great. There were times where we had some good things going in my home, but it all fell apart when my parents got divorced. So that really affected me, just like it affects other kids in the world, not just black kids, not white kids, but Puerto Rican kids, Mexican kids, Indian.
But
Russian.
that was not the end of the world.
No, that wasn't the end of the world. So I thought so. Okay, so that leads me to tell you this. When I was about 11 years old, I wanted to commit suicide. So the divorce was really devastating to me. It affected my morale. It affected my way of thinking. It affected, the way I wanted to be in life. I didn't want anything, when my parents got divorced. They got divorced. My father was gone out of the household. Okay. So there was a loss of money, probably cut in half. There were times where we didn't have any food, water, lights, anything like that. I'm playing football. I get home from practice. I'm talking to my sister. There's no lights. There's no water to take a shower. So it was very devastating. My self-esteem was low. So now my life coming before the Navy wasn't so great. The Navy made my life great. And then after the Navy, being retired, it became greater. So, now it was rough. Don't get me wrong, my parents were great parents. My mother and father were lovely people.
Okay.
Very giving people, welcome people in, took care of, kids in the neighborhood. My mother always gave great parties. My father was a great provider. He worked at Ford Motor Company. But when people go their separate ways, what you have to understand as adults, the kid's gonna be affected.
Okay.
Me and my sister and my brother were affected deeply. And there was a lot of addictions. I started turning to addictions to, alcohol later on in life, smoking later on in life, and addictions to sex early on. I was looking for something else to fill the void of my father being gone and my parents not having that togetherness anymore. So, life before the Navy was rough. Then, I felt dumb. I felt stupid a lot. I felt slow. I was called stupid. So even before joining the Navy, there's a test you have to take. It's called the ASVAB, Armed Services Vocational Aptitude and Battery Exam. I failed that twice. First time I took it, I got a 6, and the most you can get is a 99.
Okay.
So there was times where I didn't want to take the test again. So moving on up in high school and graduated in 1983, June, the summer, I had nothing to do. I had no plans. I did not take the SAT. Couldn't afford to go to college. It was my father at that time just taking care of me and my sister and my brother. So I was lost. And then I said, well, what am I going to do? I asked myself, what am I going to do? My sister asked me, well, what are you going to do? She was a year behind me. I said, I don't know. I've already taken the ASVAB once. I failed it. So I was afraid. I was afraid of tests. I was afraid of math. English comprehension, things like that, but it was all because I never applied myself. That's all it was. I never applied myself. And like I say, my parents got divorced. I lost everything. I lost myself. I lost my soul. So what I did, I sat down and I said, maybe if I apply myself just a little bit, me thinking that I'm stupid, thinking that I'm slow or dumb, let me sit down for a minute, because, what I learned was that when I apply myself, even though I have to study an hour longer or 2 hours longer than you or anybody else, but once I do that, now I got it. Now I got it. I apply myself, I study long, but nobody ever told me, sit down and study longer. Nobody ever told me that. I had to dig deep in my soul and find out what it was that I needed to do. So what caused that to come out was the fact that when I didn't have nothing, when I didn't have nothing to do, when I didn't have anything to do, June 8th of 1983, after high school, I had nothing to do. I was at rock bottom.
Okay.
But I always knew that I had something in me. I had drive and I had determination. I wanted to be somebody important. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to give back to my family. I wanted to give back to my friends. I wanted to be a guiding light for the kids that are going through the same thing that I've gone through. So, I applied myself. I took the test again, and I failed it for the second time.
Okay.
But I went from a 6 to a 30. And so my high school counselor said, hey, come on in, Mr. Walker, and have a seat. The test scores are back. Guess what? You failed the test again. He smirked. And I said, you know what? He said, you're not upset? I said, no, I'm not upset. I failed, but I didn't fail. I gained. I went from a 6 to a 30. That's 24 points. So I improved. In my world, so my confidence went up tremendously. And so the third time I took the test, I passed it. All I needed was a 31 to join the Navy back in 83, and I got a 31.
Wow.
Now my life changed tremendously after that. But all because I sat down within myself and I say, hey, you got to do something. But I took a little bit of time and I applied myself. And then even today, I don't worry about low scores. I tell my students at Rickover Naval Academy, where I teach at, I teach the juniors. I have 122 juniors. Okay. I tell them, low scores don't bother me. And I tell them in my class, if you get a low score on a test, don't worry about it. And I'm not big on minimum either. I'm not big on average, anything like that. I hate average. I hate above average, because above average is just average with a little word above it, So I tell them, don't worry, don't get discouraged if you have a low score. Now we have something to build on. But the key thing is work ethic. Work ethic. I have work ethic. I found it in myself too. So now my work ethic is, once I get into something, the program, whatever, I already know I'm gonna have minimum scores. I already got it. But now, once my work ethic kick in, I don't think there's anybody in the world that can match my work ethic. I'm not bragging or anything, but that's just the way I am. So work ethic, I work hard. And then with that, I think hard. So when I'm thinking hard, the frequency in my brain, the energy is coming. It's coming, constantly coming. So I tell my students that, a lot of them are intimidated by smart people that are smarter than them. People that are smarter than them, most of the time, they're born that way. Some people are naturally gifted with, being smart, a stronger brain, better wave activity. Some people are naturally gifted when it comes to sports. But you can make yourself gifted.
But you were born to excel and didn't know it.
Doc, I didn't know it. I had no idea. So no one else tapped inside of me. I tapped into myself. And the good thing about that is I tap into other people, and they're going to tap into other people. And we talk, about my book later on, but I may not sell one book, Doc, and I'm okay with that. But I guarantee you, I'm going to talk to thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of people. You can't stop that. I can't do anything if a person doesn't want to buy my book. I can't make them buy it. But nobody else, not you, just in general per se, can't stop me from talking to thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, whether it's on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. Can't nobody stop me from doing it. I have a gift, and I know I have a gift from God, and I'm going to deliver, and this is the way it is. And I learned that many years ago. My mother used to talk about God all the time, but there was a time I didn't believe in God. I said, there's no way, it can't be a God. My parents are getting divorced. We don't have any water, electricity, heat in the wintertime. We were borrowing electricity from the neighbors, extension cord in their backyard, through our basement window. I didn't believe in God. I didn't. And and it hurt me, but it doesn't hurt me now to talk about, because A lot of people are feeling that way. But,
Okay.
you know, once I started to mature and get older, and then once I started taking care of myself, excuse me, that's when the belief started coming around. So it doesn't exist anymore in me.
Well, tell us this. Why did you select the Navy as a service
That's a good
to
question.
make a career out of?
So my brother was in the Marines, right? He was an honor man in the Marines. And my brother sent a picture to my father one day, and he looked good in his uniform. And that's what I wanted. And then plus the Marines were tough,
Okay.
rough, tough, and they worked out, physical. My father was physical. He was in the Army. My uncle was in the Army. Two of my uncles were in the Army. My brother, Marine, he looked sharp in his dress blues.
right.
And that's what I wanted. So now you figure, okay, I want to go to the military. I saw it. I had a vision.
Okay.
And that vision, it just consumed me. And that's what I could feel myself in the Marine uniform. So off we go, June '83, me and my sister walking down Euclid, Ohio in East Cleveland. You know, she said, hey, let's go, you know, I asked her, say, you want to go to recruiting office with me? She said, sure, let's go. We get in there, and I'm destined to talk to the Marine recruiter.
Okay.
He was a sharp guy. Everybody knew him in East Cleveland. Good looking guy, the sharp uniform. That's what I wanted. My brother's image, his image, he had a nice car, clean cut.
Right.
We walk into his office. This was 11:30, June of 1983. I remember the time because it struck me so hard when he did what he did. I went in there, I said, hey, you know, I want to talk to a Marine recruiter. I want to be a Marine. He looked at his watch. He said, well, I'm at lunch. You got to come back.
Oh.
That's what I said. Oh, okay. So I'll go. I was hurt. Actually, I cried. And then as I walk out the office, I see an Army guy. He didn't have the look that I wanted. Not at all. No, I'm not knocking Army. I had a lot of great friends in the Army. The Navy guy sees me down the hall. Said, hey, come here, man. Come here. You know, he said, hey, man, quit crying. It's okay. I'm like, nah, man, I want to be a Marine. He said, no, you know, let's think about the Navy. So he started showing me pictures of the countries he had gone to, you know, Thailand, Singapore, Australia, Korea, Hong Kong. He went all over and showed me some of the gifts that he had bought. And before you know it, I was sold on the Navy just because of the travel, Doc. Because, you know, coming out of high school, both my parents dropped out in the 10th grade.
Okay.
So education was not talked about in our household. The education of being a great kid was talked about, being a great citizen, that was talked about in our household. Having respect for our elders, having respect for our neighbors, you know. So that was talked about, but education as far as beyond high school, never talked about. So I never thought about going to college. That's why I never took the SAT.
Okay.
And so I'm sitting down talking to him, you know, and the Navy recruiter, and I was sold, you know. And it wasn't about going to college. It was about traveling and having fun, visiting exotic countries, and I did that. So I wind up, you know, joining the Navy. And that's when it all started. But the Marine guy, that's why I didn't join the Marines, because he looked at his watch and he was eating McDonald's. I was mad at him and at McDonald's that day.
Right. Amazing.
So, yeah, I walked down the hall and the Navy guy took me in, and that was it, you know. So, of course, it took me, again, 3 times to pass the test.
Well, tell us about the transition that you had to make from civilian life to the military, to the Navy.
Okay,
life.
so, you know, luckily in East Cleveland, we had a lot of great mentors back then. The 70s, my brother, you know, my parents, the older guys in the neighborhood made sure we knew how to swim. We even, you know, we ice skated, we played tennis, we played ping pong. All the sports that they say most white people do, we were black kids, but we were doing what the white kids were doing. Luckily, swimming was big in our community. We had a pool that we visited quite often. So going from civilian to the military wasn't a hard transition for me. That was the type of lifestyle that I wanted. That's the type of lifestyle that I needed. That's the type of lifestyle that I looked for, was being in the military. It ran through my family, the lineage of military men in my family. So off to boot camp I go, November 21st, 1983, winter. So you know in Cleveland it's cold, but in Chicago it's colder.
Okay.
Right off, you know, Lake
Wind
Michigan.
chill factor. Yeah.
Wind chill factor. So boot camp is right here, right off the lake.
Okay.
We get here about 6 o'clock that night, and then, you know, we get a little sleep, but they wake us up to rattle the garbage cans and everything. So boot camp was actually fun to me because I had a purpose in life. You know, I no longer felt dumb. I no longer felt stupid. You know, I found out that I can do better if I applied myself, if I wanted better, and I did. So now I'm in the Navy and boot camp having fun. You know, we're exercising, we're running, we're participating in the sporting events, and I'm meeting different people from different cultures. You know, so it's cool. I felt good, but I still kind of felt dumb because I barely got in by one point. I felt dumb. And so now, and even my RDC back then, they were called company commanders. He made this comment to me, and it stayed with me forever. He said, so there's a time where all your uniforms in the Navy, you have to stencil everything. Put your name on it, your last name, comma, first name, first initial, second initial, your last four, your social. That goes on everything, your shirts, your underwear, everything, socks, towels.
I still remember mine now.
Right, yeah, so we had them. So I was stenciling my underwear one night, and that's what he said. White guy, he was really cool. He said, you know, Walker, you might be slow, but when you get it, you get it.
Okay.
And that struck me hard. It first made me mad. I got a little emotional because he took me back to when I was called dumb and stupid in elementary school, something my mother never knew about. But he said, you know what, you slow, but when you get it, you got it. So that struck me again. And I was thinking about that. I thought about that my entire time, my 2 months in boot camp. And I said, you know, he told me I'm slow, but when I get it, I get it. So I said, okay, let me transfer that into, I'm slow, okay. But as long as I remember when I took the test and passed it, as long as I apply myself, it's gonna take me some time. It is. But I'm gonna get it because my work ethic and now my think ethic, I put them two together. And I'm gonna get it. Doc, I may start after you, but I'm gonna finish right there with you. I guarantee. There's no way I'm not gonna finish right there with you. You're gonna start before me, you may even take off. You may get it quicker than I do. But guess what? I'm going to get it. I'm driven to get it. It's not about being motivated to get it. Motivation is temporary. You can drink a couple of espresso and zzz, you're motivated. But it's gonna go away. What you gonna do to bring that back? I'm driven, Doc. I'm driven. And I tell my kids at Rickover Naval Academy, if you're gonna be a farmer, you better be the best farmer in the world. If you're gonna plant flowers, plant the best flowers in the world. If you're gonna make dresses for the young ladies, the Mexican ladies, King Sierra, if you're gonna make those dresses, make the best dresses in the world. Don't go halfway. You're not average, mediocre. I don't even put those words in my vocabulary. I tell my kids the same thing. I don't care if you're gonna be a baker. There are some bakers in the world that are the best world-renowned bakers in the world. They are. They got some bakers that just bake. They go home, they bake, they go to work, they bake Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. That's it. They're content. I'm not content. I'll never be content.
At the Rickover Academy in Chicago, I could see why they're inspirational and they want to. You probably have a low dropout rate then too. Huh?
Very, very low. This is my second year. We haven't had any yet.
Oh.
Those kids, now those are some strong kids. Predominantly Mexican kids. We have a few white kids and some black kids. All those kids are strong. Some of them come 2 hours away to come to school. They get on the bus and then the train and then they walk. The fall, winter, spring, summer. And then when we're in school from 8:15 to 3:15. And then some of them have after school activities, whether it be football, basketball, or some of them just volunteer just to stay at school because they like it so much. They like the standards at the school. They like the structure. It's a very strong school. We have 7 naval science instructors. There's 7 of us. But it's a very strong school that has a lot of structure. We have a lot of care. We have a lot of love. We have a lot of tough love. And so those kids, I tell you, they complain sometimes, but they want it and they need it. And a friend of mine told me, he told the kids, his name is Les Thomas, he said, the things we teach you in this school now, not the curriculum, not the math and science and English, none of that, but the things we teach you in this school right now, the life lessons, is what's going to transition you or help you transition from high school to college and from college into corporate America. Because I told him, I said, there's kids out in corporate America, not kids, but people in corporate America, they don't care about you. You come late one day, you're done, you're fired. You making $40,000, your wife making $40,000, you get fired, now you went from $80,000 to $40,000, you got 3 kids. What's gonna happen? See, the kids nowadays don't think about that. But my kids at Rickover Naval High School, they think about it because I tell them. They're not grown, but they're getting there. but they need to have grown thoughts before they become an adult. Not when you become an adult. That's not when you start, gaining your thoughts. You get that now. And so when you get old enough, you condition, you're used to it. Now you use it. You have it. And so it's not new to you. And so you might make a mistake, but not many.
Our dropout rate locally is so high because we don't have the parents getting involved with the kids.
Yeah, and that's key. So the thing is,
like babies raising babies.
yeah, and then it recycles.
Yeah.
They stay in the community because you know what? They can't afford to go anywhere else. Nobody else, no other city will hire them. So at Rickover, we have a lot of great parents' involvement, whether it be with the drill competition, sports, after-school activities, things like that. And the teachers there really love teaching.
Okay.
And I have a newfound respect for teachers. It's not that I disrespected them or didn't have any respect for them, but teaching it's not easy. Because you're a teacher, you're a counselor, you're a mentor, you're a developer. You're growing these kids.
How does recruitment take place to get those type of teachers? Is it academy? Is that a public funds?
Well, yeah, but it's like it's part of Chicago Public School, but they have to apply and they get selected.
Okay.
Based on their background.
Is it like a charter school?
It's similar, not as much, but it's there's a selection process for it. Yes.
Okay.
So we have, I think, a little bit of maybe 540, 550 kids somewhere in there, 9th grade through 12th grade. All the sports you can think of. They wear a uniform. They wear military uniform every single day. And then from September to March, or October to March, there's a drill competition season. So they drill. They have competitions with the rifles, the flags, things like that. So that's like every other Saturday they have. Maybe one Saturday a month, sometimes two. But it's a competitive school. It's been ranked in the state every year. It's been open, I think, 12 and a half years. So I love it there. Great
For those that don't know, Rickover was an admiral, right?
Admiral Rickover, yeah, the father of the Navy nuclear program, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I like to fast forward this a little bit. In the military, you are a command master chief.
Yes.
What does that mean? Is that the
Okay, so in the Navy you go from E1 to E9.
Okay.
And the Navy's made up. Master chiefs make up 1% of the Navy. Anybody in the Navy, if you make master chiefs, 1% of the Navy.
1%.
1%, right? So now, if you want to go a little higher to become a command master chief, it's only about. It used to be about 704 command master chiefs in the Navy, and it's right there. But that's a smaller percentage of less than 1% that people apply for and that are selected for the command master chief program. So that takes it to another level. It depends on what you want. You can do 4 years in the Navy. In fact, I did 4 years and I got out, but I came back in back in '88. Got out December '87, came back in March '88. You can go from E1 to E9 and get out, or you can go from E1 to E9 and stay right there at that level. It's not necessarily a plateau, but for me, it would have been like a plateau.
Now, the next level from E9, it's the highest civilian, not civilian, highest level of
Enlisted?
Enlisted.
Yes, so E9, right. Then you have Command Master Chief, then you have Force and Fleet Master Chiefs, and you have the Master Chief Pit Officer of the Navy. So there's an E9 level, but there's little levels in between there. So it gets smaller and smaller and harder to reach that upper echelon.
There's really a uniqueness there. You say only 1%. I know locally, I've known two Master Chiefs. Raymond Tucker lived in North Chicago. As a matter of fact, John Woods also, Raymond Tucker is deceased now, but John Woods still lives in North Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And they were Master Chiefs, and that's 1%.
Yeah,
right?
It's hard to get
now,
there.
Now, your title is Command Master Chief.
Yes.
So tell us about the uniqueness there. That's what you probably couldn't tell me the percentage of Command Master Chief.
It's smaller. It's less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
Yeah. So the thing is, you have to aspire to be you have to aspire to do great in life in anything you do. First of all.
Okay.
So if you have greatness in you, you become a doctor, right?
Okay.
And I have greatness in my
when I
student
graduated
side.
from high school, I was the first African American to graduate from East St. Louis High School.
Wow.
And of course, the microphones are right there. What do you want to be? And the first thing came out of my mouth, a doctor, because it sounded good, you know.
It sounded good. So how does it feel being a doctor?
Now, it took 50 years.
Okay, well, you still got it,
I got the doctor. 50 years.
So here's the thing. I listen to Eric Thomas. Eric Thomas says there's no dates on your degree. There's no dates on there. The date that you got it, but it don't say here's presented to Dr. Brooks. Oh, by the way, it took 50 years to get it. It's not on there, so it don't matter. And you can still use it. You know, you inspire people. Even if it took you 80 years and you're still alive, you inspire me and other people. You're gonna inspire somebody else who wants to be a doctor because you did it. They don't care.
Epitaph, it'll be date of birth dash date of death. So it's what you do in that dash.
That's it.
Really what counts.
There you go. That's what that space is there for.
Yeah.
So back to the command master chief thing. I've always, when I was at E5 in the Navy, I used to watch my command master chief. Tall, he's about 6'3", white guy, bald-headed, clean cut.
Okay.
He was always good to people, and he always made people want to move. He made people want to work. And I had that, I could feel him. When he come around, I knew he was around, I could feel him, and there was a connection.
Okay.
And he would tell me about it. I said, hey, you know, what do I need to do to become a command master chief? He's like, you're only in second class. What do you do? So we laughed and joked about it. He said, here, this is what you need to do. And he said, you know, you want to follow me one day? And I said, sure. And I was 23 years old, 24. No, it was later on in life when I saw this one. This was, I can't remember, but I might have been an E6, I think I was. Yeah. So it was back in the 90s. And so I would watch him, and I would listen to him. I would watch him at meetings, and then people would listen to him, and he would just groom and develop, and he would just motivate people. And I'm like, how does he do it? I would watch him, and he said, well, you have it in you too. He told me, he said, you do that with your sailors. I had like 4 sailors at the time. He said, you do it. And I said, is that all? He said, that's it. We're not gonna minimize it. There's more to it. But here's the foundation. This is what you need to do. And so I started doing that, and every job I went to, I just felt better and better, got stronger and stronger, and more confident. So again, my scores didn't even matter anymore. I care less about a low score. Work ethic, think ethic, I put them together, Doc. And so I became a command master chief in 2000. I applied for the program in 2006, like November, and in 2007, I think February, the results came out, and I became a command master chief. So command master chief is like any major corporation. You have the CEO and the COO, and then with the Navy, you had that command master chief. Just his effectiveness is laterally, vertical as well, because he works for the commanding officer, but he has to be in tune with the executive officer. They have to be tight. They have to know the pulse of the crew. They have to know what's going on every second of the day. If you're gonna be command master chief, you gotta be willing to work 24 hours a day. You'll get some rest, you know. But so I became a command master chief in 2007 because it wasn't about a title. It wasn't about the extra money, because when you get selected for it, you get $5 a day extra. That's it.
$5 a day.
That's it. So I tell people, if you want to be a command master, don't do it for the money. Yeah. So initially, your first command master tour is $150. Okay. So I didn't care about that. I don't even remember if it was in my pay, but I don't remember seeing it because I didn't care about that. Okay. But I wanted to affect all of these other young men and women in the Navy, and then support my commanding officer. Keep him out of trouble. Keep him, comfortable. Make sure he can relax. Keep him informed. It's just like you're a leader. It's just on another level. So you have to know people's personalities, their wants, needs, desires, and you have to be willing to deliver that for them. You do.
Retirement evidently must have been an emotional moment for you.
Doc, it was. It was. My family was up here too. August 7, 2015. It was extremely emotional. I wasn't ready for that day. Because I love the Navy. I still love the Navy. It gave me everything. Right. It made me who I am.
Right.
And so, yeah, it came, and I was like, I was scared, Doc. I was afraid. This is all I have known for 32 years was the Navy.
Right.
I came in, I was 17, when I retired, I was 49, 50, somewhere in there. It didn't matter because I wasn't trying to keep up with that. But I loved the Navy. And yeah, it was emotional. My family came up from Cleveland. They caught the train up. And we had a whole weekend planned. My brother was here, my sister was here.
Okay.
I wish my parents could have both been here, but I know they're here in spirit. They know that I was a good kid. I was a good young man, and I was a great sailor for them. So, yeah, my family came up. We had a great weekend planned. We went down to the city, Navy Pier. We ate at Giordano's. A lot of great restaurants. You know how Chicago does it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they came up, and it was sad. I cried my heart out, I'm not a crier. Well, maybe I am. But I just, my retirement day, I cried my heart out, because it was, the thing about it though, Doc, I retired, but it wasn't over. Some people retire and they think it's over. No, I still
yeah.
have more to give back. And that's when so my first 6 months when I retired, I was a little depressed. I was down because I wasn't seeing my sailors anymore. I wasn't seeing my friends anymore.
Okay.
But then it hit me one day and say, you know what, it's not over. What are you doing? Get up. You still have people you need to talk to. You still have people that you love. You have still have people that love you. You know, so I was like, all right. You know, I got up and I had my first job interview at the Military Entrance Processing Station, MEPS, by Chicago. And that was still helping process people into the Navy. So I was still giving back. So, you know, I was still feeding my soul. That's what I need. I'm a people person. I love people. I fought that for years. You know, some of my ex-girlfriends, so forth, say, you need to start telling people no. Now, I can't tell people no. But I read this thing in a book. It was a book of aspirations. It's okay to tell people no. It's okay. It's great to tell them yeah, but don't tell them yeah at the cost of your life or your family's life. So I had to learn how to tell people no. You know, and it's tough. It's still tough. But my thing is, I learned from some of the admirals that I work for. They say, you know, find a way to yes. Instead of saying no, find a way to yes. So you'd be surprised what happens when you tell people to find a way to yes. Guess what they do? They find a way to yes. So I don't have a problem with telling people no. I mean, I don't have telling people yeah. I love telling people yes. But I had a hard time telling people no. So
military experiences really affected your life. But what about what did you gain?
Ooh, wow. Again, there's a couple of things, quite a few things I gained, Doc. I gained the experience of experiencing different cultures.
Okay.
You know, whether it be China, you know, going to China, eating their food, Spain, going to Barcelona, Spain, eating, you know, paella. Going to Australia, you know, seeing a kangaroo, you know, live and close, you know, going to the opera house in Australia. So there's a lot of things that I've learned. I was able to improve in my work ethic. I was given leadership roles, and I had the ability to help other people in their life and their lifestyle, bring other people along. I was recruited in the Navy in Cleveland. I was able to bring people into the Navy and give them, you know, jobs, you know, medical, dental benefits, life insurance. You know, as a recruit division commander, RDC here in Great Lakes, I did it for about a year. I was able to take, you know, other people's children and get them through the Navy boot camp, 59 days, and then transition them from civilian to military, like I was able to do. So I was able to do that too. I was an instructor. I was able to teach some of the kids that come from, you know, civilian world into the Navy, to boot camp, and then go on to their initial assessment training. And then I was instructing them on navigation. I taught navigation. That was my job in the Navy. So it opened me up to a lot about people, the cultures, how I am as a person, what else can I do? You know, I had a lot of things in me that I didn't even know. I didn't know I could teach. I didn't know I could be a RDC, a drill instructor. You know, I didn't know that I could be a recruiter. I didn't know I could talk to people and motivate them enough to want to change their life and come into the Navy. Even, you know, inner city black kid that can't swim. All right? I talk to them about joining the Navy. Then their fears about swimming go away. Why? Because I say, hey, we teach you how to swim. That was their only objection. I already knew how to swim, so it was easy for me. But so things like that, I learned objection handling. You know, when people say no, you know, all these, you know, I don't know if I could do this, I don't know if I could do that. Let me talk to my girlfriend, let me talk to my parents. You know, so I learned a lot of things in recruiting. I learned a lot of things as an RDC recruit division commander about time management.
Okay.
And that was, you need that in recruiting too. You didn't need that so much in being an instructor, you did, but it was 8 to 4, 8 to 3 teaching. But time management and recruiting, you gotta, you know, have so much time to talk to a person and tell them the good things about the Navy and the bad, and then see if they still want to join the Navy. Time management as a drill instructor, RDC recruit division commander, you have a schedule that you had to follow. And if you didn't follow a schedule, you know, you would get in trouble. So I learned time management, you know, different cultures, how to be a leader, how to be a husband when I was married, how to be even learn how to be a follower of great people, strong people, you know.
You mentioned that I retired as a civilian employee from Great Lakes after many years there, 38 total years between the VA and as a counselor for a couple of years. And I always wondered, I always asked the question about was the military the result of their separation? And quite a few separate from their families because I guess maybe the traveling, I guess, was a major part.
Yeah,
of
you know, back
separation
in the 80s,
of family.
right, back in the 80s, the divorce in the Navy was the highest amongst any branch because of the deployments. Deployments back then were like 9 months. Then they went, years later, they went down, reduced them to 6 months. Now they edged back up to like 7, 8 months. Depends on what's going on in the world, you know, the conflicts that are going on. Right now we're fighting a war on terrorism, so we can be deployed at any given time. So yeah, the separation is it could be pretty rough on the wife, the husband, if his wife is in the Navy, but overall, hard on the kids.
Really rough.
You know,
Right.
It's tough.
Right.
So you have to have a strong spouse, male or female. You have to have a very strong spouse.
Yeah.
They have to be understanding and supportive, and you have to communicate with them and your kids. The spouse eventually will understand, you know, but the kids may never until you talk to them. So you have to communicate. That's a key thing when you're in the military, any branch, everybody deploys. You have to talk, and you have to be reassuring to your spouse and reassuring to your kids. I'm going to be back. While I'm gone, this is what you need to do. And then now technology, you can, you know, FaceTime, you know, video chat, all that stuff. So it makes it easier where you can see your loved ones. Aside from when I came in, we wrote letters. It took 3 weeks to get one letter. And by the time you get the letter, all that news in the letter is old. Even people that die, you know, it's old. Funeral's over, you know, so. But yeah, the absence is tough. It's easier to deal with now, but you know, only thing you can't do is touch your loved one when you deploy.
Well, as we were preparing for this show, I was talking with Nancy Manning. She's your executive assistant.
Yes, Nancy.
South Carolina, and we're talking face to face over the
FaceTime. Yeah, it's like that. Quick, easy. Yeah, Nancy's been very instrumental in this whole process.
Had it not been for her, so kudos to Nancy. Putting this program together. I mean, she literally put it together.
Yeah, in no time at all. I couldn't do it. I can sit here and talk to you all day, Doc, but you putting other stuff together? No, I can't do it.
She was so. Oh, by the way, while you were in the military, you took time out, some time at Forsyth School.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Working with the kids there.
Yeah,
too,
working with your daughter Cassandra.
Yeah.
I think just in 2009 or 10, I believe. We had I had a few friends that I work with at Great Lakes. My man Leon Brown, he's a retired senior chief. My man Pippin, who's a warrant officer. I can't remember where Pippin is right now, and there was a few others. We started a mentorship program in the school, so we want to do something different because you got mentorship. Sometimes in this world, around the world, whether it's a corporate America or colleges, they have mentorship programs. They're not working. Okay, so what happens is they talk to the proteges, and they meet them once a week, and they talk. But we took it to another level. So we said, instead of just talking, I don't want to lose you kids, we're going to keep y'all engaged. So every time they screwed up when we would go every Thursday, we go every Thursday from 1 to 2, 1,300, 1,400. Dr. Brooks, your daughter, would give us a classroom, and she'd go get the kids. We had about 15 of them, somewhere in there. Whenever they screwed up, they would do push-ups. And the kids, we learned that they liked that. So I said, look, how are we gonna make this a different type of mentorship program? And my man Leon Brown said, hey, well, let's teach them how to tie ties. Okay, so we brought ties. One Thursday was ties. We taught them how to tie ties. Next Thursday, we taught them how to start a car. It was my vehicle.
Okay.
And so they get in there, they on the gas, turn the simmer. So then the next Thursday, we talk about how to make coffee for your mother in the morning. And then next Thursday it was how to add windshield wiper fluid to the vehicle.
Oh.
We take them out there and lift the hood up and put that in there. We taught them how to iron.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was we did the different things. We knew what they weren't doing at home, so we would capitalize on that. Sadly, I just found out that one of them, all our little boys are probably like maybe 19 right now.
Okay.
One is doing good. Rashawn Brown, he's at college playing football. I think it's his first year. But we just found out that one of the kids got murdered in Virginia.
Oh,
yeah, and these kids were 5th graders. So between the 2009 to 2010, and now we lost 2.
The military families.
Yes, they were military. They were. So we lost 2. But one of them is still doing good. He's in high school, and the other ones we just didn't had lost touch with those kids. But it was a great program. Cassandra Brooks, your daughter, let us do what we wanted to do. When he came to school, we get the kids, and they were ready. As soon as we walk in, they would be lined up, ready to go. So these kids wanted that, and we gave it to them. Every Thursday from 1 to 2, 1,300 to 1,400, we gave it to them.
She really enjoyed that Forrestal experience as a principal, and because of she excelled. It was because of the Navy support.
Yeah,
you guys give her good support, and she was invited to the White House. President Obama gave her an award.
They just told me that when I came in here. They say, hey, did you know his daughter got an award from President Obama? I was like, wow.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
So I have two in the family that got.
Yeah, and your wife too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
2000, I don't know, 10, I guess she got a civilian.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good school. Yeah.
So, well, what about plans after retirement? And we talk about career path that you're in. Tell us about that.
The first career path was being a supervisor at the MEPS, Military Interest Processing Station. Process the
people know it by MEPCOM.
MEPCOM.
That's
it's
137 in Buckley Road.
Yeah, we work for that MEPCOM.
Green Bay
Road,
small,
right over there by the airport. So I did that, and then I got a call from Rickover Naval High School. So started teaching September 12th of last year. I have the juniors, and just last year, I started writing a book June 6th last year.
What in the world encouraged you to become an author?
That's a good question. So it's a quick story. I'll tell you the quick story.
Okay.
I was at JB's barbershop on MLK, and we were talking, and the guy, George Moore.
Yeah, I know him, yeah.
George was trimming my beard up, and he was asking JB, hey, man, you know anybody that can talk to people, man? We trying to do his legacy reentry program. He's trying to start it up. And JB said, man, the dude in the chair, he can talk to people. And so George was like, and he looked at me, he said, you talk to people? I said, yeah, what you need, man? He said, well, hey, after I do your beard tonight, can you come by my building on Belvedere and let me interview you and see, what your background was like? And I said, okay, cool. So I get there at 7 o'clock. Within 10 minutes of talking, George said, hold on, man, that's too much information. He said, where'd you get all this stuff from? What happened? Who are you? I said, I told you, man. So we started talking, and he said, well, look, are you willing to talk to some people for me? I said, sure. He said, well, why don't you just write a book, man? And I said, write a book? He said, yeah, you gave me 10 minutes of your life, and that's a book. And Dr. Brooks, I never thought about writing a book, never.
Is that right?
Matter of fact, I didn't like writing. I took an English class a couple of years ago and got a C because I didn't want to write a 5-page essay. I didn't want to do it. So June 6th of last year at about 7:30 at night, I went home in Round Lake Beach and I sat down and I started typing. And I didn't stop typing until August 11th.
Wow.
I wrote for 65 days straight, and I ended up with 350 pages of my life from when I was in the first grade.
Back from Cleveland.
From Cleveland, Ohio. First grade, because that's when the first tragic incident happened to me. And then I wrote all the way up to 2015 when I retired. And so I had one book, right? I'm thinking, one book.
Okay.
That's it, 340 pages. So I started talking to Nancy last year because we have a story together from many, many, many years ago. It had been like 23 years since I've talked to her, and I found her on Facebook.
Wow.
And so we started talking, and then she said, and I told her about the book. And so she's well versed in, speaking. She's well versed in ministry. She's well versed in leading. She's well versed in developing and grooming people. So we started talking about the book. She said, Leon, you have 3 books right here. And so, Doc, I couldn't understand it because I wasn't receiving her message.
Okay.
I was in denial. I said, I don't know. Nancy, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm tired of writing. I'm tired. Doc, I was done. And so it took me 4 months. One day I said, I was driving to work. I said, Nancy, I had 2 to 3 books right here. She said, I told you that 4 months ago. But I wasn't receiving it, so it wasn't coming in. My brain activity wasn't open to it.
Okay.
And so once I started thinking about it, I opened my mind up. So what I did was I separated the years. That's all I had to do. The book was already written.
Okay.
It wasn't edited or anything like that.
Right,
so I went from 1971 up until 1983, which is one book. And then from 1983 to 2015, which is my second book, my 32-year career, right?
Okay.
And then from 2015 to now, I'm working on another book, and then that's 3 books. So, and then I'm working on a 4th book for my buddy, the one that had the broken arm as a baby.
Okay.
So yeah, and then okay, I have friends that are authors in the area, and I started showing them my manuscript, and it just started growing. And they started giving me advice. I would meet them at the library in Gurnee. Sad part about it, Doc, I didn't even know there was a library in Gurnee. Hadn't been in the library in 20 years. So I started going to the library and I started enjoying it. The funny part about that, I didn't even know how to check into the library. I had no clue. I asked ladies, I'm still looking for a 1970s library card.
Okay.
And she said, fill this little paper out and you're good. Is that it? She said, yeah. How much is it? Nothing.
Right.
I didn't know. So I go into the library now, I had friends that are authors that would help me out. So I have author mentors along with, Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I started growing. And then I started reading books. The first book I ever read in my life, complete book, was A Child Called It. His story was related to mine. Although my mother and father were beautiful parents, my mother wasn't ever abusive, but his mother was. So I read his book to understand the storyline and the transition from paragraph to paragraph, and that's how it started to unfold. And then the advice I took from other people, they said, just write. Don't worry about the commas and periods, but naturally your brain's gonna allow you to put in a comma and a period where you think it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So it just started unfolding. And then I read a book on Stephen King called On Writing, because I'm interested in becoming a better writer. And then from that, I found my editor in his book by looking up his editor on Google. And when I went reading Stephen King's book, he mentioned his editor, so I'm looking for an editor now. And then Google pops up, I'm typing his name, and then another guy named William Greenleaf, his name popped up, and I called him, and he's my editor. And Alice Vitello, who's in Mentor, Ohio. I met her through a friend of mine that I was recruiting in 94, 95, Jeff Boss, he wound up becoming a Navy SEAL. So the story all kind of ties in kind of crazily. So I was recruiting Jeff Boss in, I think, 94, 95 maybe, to be a Navy SEAL, and I lost touch, found out that he was a Navy SEAL, contacted him when I wanted to become a writer, and he introduced me to his editor, Alice Vitello, and she started editing my book, really helped me out. And she's got a great story too. She's an MMA fighter, single mother, so a lot of great stuff going on with her and other people that helped me out along the way.
So there's a great message in your memoirs that you hope that listeners will grasp.
I do. First of all, stop doubting yourself. Doubt and fear reduces your focus 100%. Don't ever think that you can't do anything. Don't worry about your scores. Your scores, whether it be ACT or SAT, test scores in high school, that doesn't define you. Your score is not you. Some people take it on. This is my score. This is me. This is who I am, and they become scared. The fear sets in. So don't let your scores scare you. Get in. Make sure you got a very strong work ethic. Make sure with your work ethic and your think ethic are combined as one. Never give up. Stay driven. Motivation comes and goes. That's what my friend David Goggins says. But stay driven. Have a goal. Have a vision. People have sight. There's a difference between sight and vision. Sight.
Okay, right.
Sight. You got sight. I got sight.
Right.
Apparently you have vision too if you became a doctor. I have vision too. I did 32 years in the Navy. I'm an author now. I'm a leader. I'm a motivational speaker. So sight is right now. Vision is where you see yourself, where you want to go, where you want to be, what you want to do. Who you want to inspire, who you want to help, who you want to grow. So have vision. Always give back. Never tell people no. Help people always. Aspire to be somebody big in life. Your ultimate goal is to be great, period. Your ultimate goal is to be great. So don't stop there. Don't let anybody put limitations on you, right? I tell people that. Don't ever let anybody. I tell my students that.
You're born to be great.
Born to be great, right?
No doubt about it.
Yeah, so somebody's opinion of you does not have to be your reality. It doesn't have to be your reality. Don't let it be your reality, at all, 100%. If you fail, it's okay. Fail big, fail forward. That's what Denzel Washington said. His mom told him, you have to move to make progress. You can run in place all day. You're not going anywhere.
Okay.
You have to move to make progress. Don't sit on your butt. Get up, move around, do something, think. It's heart work, not heart, H-E-A-R-T, heart work. Put it into it. Get your mind engaged. that brain activity, that frequency. Keep it going. So have fun doing it,
But
don't ever stop.
how do you keep yourself motivated to be an author and a speaker?
Because, Doc, I have other people that I want to help. I'm a helper. I'm a giver. I'm a servant. And it comes from my heart. I drive to work every morning, right? Going to Rickover Naval Academy. When I get off on exit 39B, Toohey Avenue,
Okay.
I could be like this. As soon as I get to the exit, I don't know what it is. It's been going on since last September. So I get a jolt of energy. I know what it is from God, but I get a jolt of energy, and I go and put in my day. I can stay up all night, 2, 3 in the morning, go to bed, get up at 5, go to work struggling. I get off on the exit, I start feeling the momentum start to build.
Wow.
And when I get in that classroom, as soon as I see those kids' face, they come and they smiling.
Yeah, right.
Now I don't think about being tired. You know when fatigue hits me? At 3:15 when I leave the kids.
Okay.
Because I'm gone, I go home, but I know that I have more things to do in life, more people to touch, more people to lead. So that's how I stay driven and motivated, because something else is gonna come. If it's not coming, Doc, I'm gonna make it happen the next day.
I still want to know, I probably don't know them, but you can tell us role models in your life that keep you going.
Role models, well, first of all, both my parents,
Okay.
God created them,
Okay.
both my parents. They're both deceased. My father died in 99, my mother died in 2013. So I want them to know that, I'm still on earth doing great things for people, because my mother was a giver. My father was a giver. My father always liked to see people happy.
Okay.
My mother was a natural leader. Those two people there, I have a lot of mentors that I don't want to let down. Okay, so the way I stay motivated, the way I stay driven, is I find, they say, ask yourself why. The why. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? I say the who. Who do you do it for, Doc? Who did you get your doctorate degree from? Massey Walker, who do you do this for? My kids. I want them to see that I'm a great person, a great father. I want to continue to be able to provide for them. If I'm gone, 100 years after I'm gone, Doc, I want to be able to provide for my kids. I want to be a role model for my kids, for my God kids. I have 4 God kids. I have 3 kids. I want to be able to provide for them. I want to be able to make sure that their life is okay. And my students and my friends, family. I want to be able, that's what keeps me going. Because if I fail, if I quit, then they're going to say it's okay for me to quit. It's not okay for you to quit. It's not. They say quitters don't win and winners don't quit, period. I believe that. So I have to keep going, Doc. I have a lot of people to provide for. Even if it's just talking to people in the morning or giving somebody a hug, I know this is my calling. I hug people in my sleep, Doc. I do. It happens all the time. When I'm dreaming, I'm hugging people. I'm talking to people. So that's what keeps me going, the fact that I have a gift and I have to give back. I have to. I can't keep it to myself. It's just starting to really come to fruition for me. I've been doing it all my Navy career, talking to people, helping out, sharing my stories with people. Back in the 80s when I didn't even realize what I was doing. I was talking to them, helping them out. But I have a gift. I got to give it back, Doc. Can't hold on to it.
Well, I may say this, though, that you are very inspirational.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that you are inspired by the reception, that you get from other people, too.
I do.
That keeps you going.
I am. Yeah, that keeps me going. So, to see a smile on your face keeps me going. Things like that. I like the smaller things in life. I don't need anything from you. I don't need money from anybody. The fact that I can help you, I can help you move forward. I can motivate you, keep you driven, keep you young,
Okay.
Keep you around. That's
well,
what gets
the
me.
Bible speaks of laughter is the like a medicine to the soul.
It is, my father he laughed all the time, big wide grin. My father was a laugher, and I get that. Yeah. It's in my DNA, deep in my DNA,
I'm always telling jokes to people to get them to smile.
Yeah, right.
Because data shows, and always speaking about data, that it takes about 17 muscles to smile.
And more, how many to frown?
43 to frown.
Yeah. You know what
so
smiling
it's
does?
more an effort.
More and more effort, but people take that effort. You know also what smiling does, Steve? It brings value to your face.
Okay. Okay.
It brings value to your face. So. Yeah.
Well, where do you expect to be, say, 5, 10 years from now?
On top of the world. Yeah.
Okay. You
touching millions of lives. That's why I'm going to be. The expectations have been laid years ago, Doc. It's just I'm starting to see the road. I got it. I'm on that road now. So
okay.
I'm on top of the world with plenty of people with me, you know. But I expect to be. I'm going to be there. Ain't no doubts and nothing in my mind. But 10, 20 years from now, a few more books, teaching people how to write, helping people become better speakers, better fathers, better husbands, better uncles, better godfathers. So giving it all back. Because I experienced all of that, marriage, divorce, relationships, breakups. And if people want to join the military, I can teach them how to stay in the military and be successful and get to that 1%.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, the Navy is it's a great loss to see you leave. You're a great asset you were to the naval population.
And it was great to me. That's what kept me going. What the Navy gave me. They took a little kid like me, broken out of the ghettos of Cleveland. The middle class, low class part that had become East Cleveland now, and made me a great person. I could not have done this without the Navy. No way.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, we've been talking for the past hour to Commander Master Chief Leon R. Walker Jr. As you can see, he's a great inspirational speaker and an author. And we've been talking about from tragedy to triumph. And he is a person, you found out, that you should know. And we talked about when you're born into this world, you're born to excel. You're not born to be a failure. God does not make any junk.
No.
So, we all can be inspirational to somebody else, and without knowing it, and that person could inspire someone else too.
Right.
So, Master Chief, I would say continue to live your life in victory.
I will. That's all I know, Doc.
You're going to be doing that.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for viewing another awareness session on Community Forum. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks Sr., your host.